My name is Tori Tamburino, and I am currently in the MAT program at NC State. For my professional development book, I chose What Great Teachers Do Differently, 14 Things That Matter Most by Todd Whitaker. This book describes the behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs that shape the fabric of an effective classroom. It focuses on what effective teachers do in the classroom and what others do not. Whitaker, being a former teacher, principal, and a professor, gives numerous and insightful points that have resonated with me. Why this book is beneficial for teachers, veteran or new, is because it provides a teacher with a better mindset. Whitaker states effective educators understand that one of the best ways to alter perceptions is to provide other perceptions. You need to make sure you believe in you and that you are the best teacher and that your students are the best students. They need to believe it as well. You need to wake up every morning with a positive attitude and a motivation to make it happen. Another is you gain insight to how effective we are or can be as teachers. This book allows you to reflect on your own teaching. We decide what to bring into the classroom every day, and every day that should be a positive, safe, and fun learning environment. When our students model what we do and how we act in a positive way, we have created an elite class unlike the rest. That is what becoming an effective teacher is, providing the students what they need in a positive way and giving them the room to soar. Thirdly, you learn new perspectives and apply them to the classroom. There are many great examples of real classrooms and real teachers that Whitaker provides throughout this book. Reading this book about effective classrooms and teachers will motivate you and guide you to becoming one of the best teachers in your school. And lastly, what effective teachers do versus what others do not. You also learn the tools of what not to do within a classroom. One strategy may work for an effective teacher, while it may not work for another. However, you will need to find the groove that works best in your classroom, and Todd delivers such tools. For my main idea, there's 14 great hallmarks that Whitaker had provided, but I chose 4 I thought were extremely important to consider when teaching. One of them is being the power of expectations. A teacher's classroom management sets the stage for learning. Great teachers focus on expectations, others focus on rules, and the least effective teachers focus on the consequences of breaking the rules. I chose this as a main idea because without effective classroom management, we as teachers start to focus on the response to behavior instead of preventing the behavior. Great teachers implement clear expectations at the beginning of the year and follow them consistently throughout. It is imperative to have a successful classroom that maintains order, promotes engagement, and fosters relationships among peers and educators. Without this, students lose the motivation to learn. Next is 10 days out of 10. One of the hallmarks of an effective teacher is that they create a positive atmosphere in their classrooms and schools. They treat every person with respect. In particular, they understand the power of praise. With this, there are many factors that can bring a teacher down: an angry parent, troubled student, or worst case, limited resources. As a teacher, we need to always take the positive approach. Therefore, 10 days out of 10 to those challenges. Teachers will learn from their mistakes and never forget that one time. Throughout the sections of What Great Teachers Do Differently, Todd discusses the power of praise and ways to make it work. Praise must be authentic, specific, immediate, clean, and private. Students strive for praise and work hard to receive it. When delivered correctly, there is never too much. Thirdly, we have make it cool to care. Great teachers care about their students. They understand that behaviors and beliefs are tied to emotion. And they understand the power of emotion to jumpstart change. The key is to develop and establish school-wide environment that supports everyone's effort to do what is right. It is essential. When the best teachers have accomplished this, the students care. They care about learning, the teacher, and each other. Creating this allows it to be cool to care. When you touch the heart of a child, you teach the child. Whitaker states students care about great teachers because they know great teachers care about them. And lastly, for my last main idea, prevention versus revenge. When a student misbehaves, great teachers have one goal: to keep that behavior from happening again. The least effective teacher has a different goal: revenge. As educators, we must focus on what we have the ability to influence. In this section what great teachers do differently, it talks about a teacher's bag of tricks, and that an effective teacher only reaches into that bag once or twice a day, and an ineffective teacher uses it as many times as possible as a way to try and squash the negative behaviors. We need to find ways that work, and not everything works consistently, but a teacher needs to find what works best with his or her students, but to make sure that the students have the same options in the end. Some important takeaways I took from reading this book is to make everyone feel like a somebody. I know this is stated by KID president. However, Whitaker states this in many ways throughout the book. As a teacher, you need to make sure every child feels special and make them feel like they're wanted. They need to know that they are cared for and that their education is part of your daily job for them to succeed. And my last takeaway is create a bag of tricks that enhances the positive learning environment we as teachers wish to create. You want to create a bag of tricks that not only provides an environment that provokes motivation, creativity, and engagement, but one that also allows for a safe, nurturing classroom. Having a bag of tricks that meets all of your requirements evokes trust in not only your students, but your school and the parents. And it is a great way to have an effective classroom. And lastly, my favorite passage that's found on page 61 of What Great Teachers Do Differently is stated by Whitaker, and quote, "We are very fortunate to work in education. Sometimes we just forget how blessed we are. By consistently filtering out the negatives that don't matter and sharing a positive attitude, we can create a much more successful setting. Consciously and unconsciously, we decide the tone of our classrooms and our school," end quote. I think this is a very important quote to share and to live by when you are considering being a teacher or currently are a teacher. Your attitude shapes the daily lives of the students and their success in school. Thank you so much for listening.